What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Got a good video today. Nick Fuentes going in on Jason Whitlock, and Jason Whitlock responds. All right, let's react to this video and check it out.
A token!
We started back from the beginning.
SOT 12, where he says my role is to confer dignity on white conservatives. Let's play SOT 12.
And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon white people the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views. That's why you get paid. And that's why I don't, because I didn't have the privilege of being born black. I was born white, so there's a limit on what I can say. There's a limit on what I can say without being penalized in the so-called free marketplace of...
Hold on, I don't even think Nick Fuentes is white. He's a Latino that cosplays white. He want to be white. So Nick Fuentes, he's a Latino that thinks he's white. So
you've got mail.
I don't know what he's talking about.
ID.
You want to be white so bad, it's crazy. Makes no sense. Just be who you are.
Ideas, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows, and everybody's sick of it, especially in the conservative space, that blacks have had it easy. It is, and I don't doubt that he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's genuine. But you are playing by a different set of rules, pal. You have training wheels on. You think you've earned it? Everything you have. Take a look around at your studio, your contract, your employees. If you said the stuff that you said as a white person, your ass would be fucking gone. And everybody knows that. You're on Blaze hosting E. Michael Jones talking about the Jews. It's a good fucking thing you're black, because if you weren't, you would have been fired like Elijah Schaffer.
Now, it's a lot of truth to what he's saying. A lot of these white companies, or so to say, they get the black people like Jason Whitlock, Candace Owens, Tommy Sotomayor, and the list goes on, to say stuff they can't say. Like, for example, with this Carmelo Anthony situation, I saw a video where Tommy Sotomayor was on Tommy Lauren's show. And Tommy, everybody who watched and know Tommy go full coon, just say it. He was on there just speaking with so much passion about how black people are the worst people on the planet, and she was just quiet, just letting them go for it. So that he's telling the truth to a certain extent. They get the black people to say what they really want to say. So I agree with Nick Fuentes on that point right there.
I'm glad I remembered that clip, because there's a couple things going on here. There are, there's jealousy. There is some sort of belief that I'm immune to the consequences of my journalistic standards, of my approach to journalism. How dare you interview E. Michael Jones, and, if you were white, you would have been fired, and he's comparing me to Elijah Schaffer. I've had Elijah Schaffer on this show years ago when he worked at the Blaze. And when you are 57, 56 at that time, or when you start here at age 52, 53, when you have put together, when God has put together for you the journalistic career that I've put together, and I'm sorry, that God has put together for me, and I say that in all sincerity, that the things that I accomplish as a journalist, and they're on record, there's no question about it, that God allowed me to be one of the best sports journalists, and this will be offensive to the people that hate me, but it's just reality in American history. Accomplished some things, wrote stories that major national impact, time after time after time again, exposed truths that no one else was going to expose. And I'm in my 50s, and he's comparing me to a child who was at the beginning of his career in the media, and expects that a child in this profession should be treated like a decorated military veteran in this profession. Real Estate Agents I Trust connects you with top performing real estate agents in your area. These aren't just any professionals. They're carefully vetted to ensure they're leaders in their...
Yeah, so Nick Fuentes, probably is a little jealousy going on between, all the white people, they feel that the black people can get away with saying things, a lot of black people, Candace Owens, Jason Whitlock, and a few others getting contracts that they just not getting. And they feel they handcuffed and can't really say what they want to say, but black people can. And they got the white guys, the white people, they feel a certain kind of way, especially Nick Fuentes. But Nick Fuentes is a Latino guy. He's not a white man, but he cosplays as one, so he gonna take that stance. But Jason Whitlock, it's funny that Nick Fuentes, he's catching heat for this. Jason Whitlock shows a lot of favor to the white guys, like particularly Brett Favre. Him and Brett Favre were supposedly like this. And, Brett Favre had a scandal about a year or two ago where he defrauded, I think, the state of Mississippi all this money. He defrauded a black community a lot of resources. And Jason Whitlock goes in on everybody else, but he said he's not going to bring it up to Brett Favre because him and Brett Favre are friends. But that don't stop him from going in on black athletes. So I get it. I kind of get what Nick Fuentes is. I'm not on Nick Fuentes' side. I'm not on Jason Whitlock's side either. I'm neutral in it, but I kind of understand what Nick Fuentes is saying.
Me and Elijah Schaefer should be treated the same. That's a level of privilege that they want that perhaps is irrational. And the assertion that I've been given everything, oh boy, that's quite a stretch. But he can have that narrative. Doesn't bother. I don't want to remotely sound defensive about it. But the one thing I do want to answer to is like this thought that I'm here to confer dignity on white conservatives. I'm here to defend Christian values. I'm here to defend anyone that stands on Christian values. And I don't want Christian values demonized as racist. And so anybody that is standing on the truths, the historical account in this Bible, and stands on that truth firmly and points back to this Bible and his word and his ways. And I've watched the culture try to demonize people standing on this word and this truth. And they're trying to cleverly paint it as racist and only white conservatives do this or do that, or white evangelicals, or Uncle Tom black people. Yeah, I want to confer dignity to God's truth. And I don't want it smeared and promoted as racist or harmful for black people. And that's what they've been doing. Hey, if you follow the Bible, black people, that's going to harm you. And I am here to object to that. And I will defend anybody that I believe is following this Bible. And I will call out anybody that's pretending to follow the Bible.
Okay, I got to stop it right there. All these people talking about following the Bible and These people don't follow the Bible for real. Because you go into the scriptures and tell them, show them what the scriptures say and tell them who is who, whose nationality is what in the scriptures and the prophecies of the Bible, they are not going to go with it. So, I mean, I guess, these pork chop Christians, and Jason obviously one of those, they're not for real. It's just a game they play talking about the Bible, Christianity. I ain't even gonna get into all that. I just wanted to stop right there. I know all these people that are screaming about the Bible. I could go show you stuff you're supposed to do in the Bible. You'll put the Bible down. So cut it out, man.
While pointing people straight to hell. And so that's why I've had to, from time to time, not from time, pretty consistently on this show, like, hey man, this stuff going on in the pulpit in these black churches and all this racial idolatry and all this understanding of the world they're passing on to their congregants, that this is a battle of black versus white. That's why I call, hey man, that's not.
Now hold up. Nick Fuentes, a so-called wannabe white man, called you out. How the hell this get turned around to black folks? That's something that killed me about these people. Like that Ringo TV guy and a few other guys. Anton Daniels. The few times that is the white person was in the wrong, they find a way to bring it back to black people. And I hope Jason Whitlock is not finna chastise black people when you had a white man, a Latino man pretending to be a white man call you out. But instead of going in on him or white people, you chastise black people. This ought to be interesting. Let's check this out.
Not biblical. There's no way. We can go to Ephesians.
Yeah, let's go.
We're one in Christ. We can go to the Bible and find no mention of race. And I know that y'all try to find, well.
No mention of race? I ain't even gonna get into that right now, but the Bible follows a particular bloodline, the Hebrew Israelites that went in captivity, they're still in captivity to this day. Edom. It don't talk about race, but I say that for my other channel. I ain't gonna do that on this channel.
I think it's inferred in this and that. And I think if you understand when Paul called out Peter, that was really about race. I've heard it all. It's all hot garbage. It's not true. It's your understanding. And you shouldn't lean into your understanding. Because trust me, if we were in a battle of black versus white, one of them early chapters in the Old Testament, one of them early chapters in the New Testament would have been like, hey, let me tell y'all about this black versus white battle that's going to rule the world. Doesn't do that. People that want to lean into their own understanding pass along that understanding to justify the racial idolatry they use to build an audience. Louis Farrakhan did it and does it. Nick Fuentes did it and does it. Help us grow the fearless army.
All right, man. That was that. I ain't on neither one of them side. Sometimes I do watch Jason Whitlock. I have reacted to a few of his videos. Every now and then I can watch Jason. He's pretty cool, but sometimes, just like this Carmelo Anthony situation, he's doing what I expected him to do, so I ain't with him on that. But I thought it was interesting that a pretend white man, a Latino man, Nick Fuentes, goes in on Jason Whitlock, a guy who only loves white people and do everything to please them, it seems to me. But I'm gonna put link to Jason's channel in this video in the description box. Go check him out. He made some good content. I'll give it to him. Even though I don't agree with all his talking points at times, he does make good content. I do watch him, so go give him a subscribe. Nick Fuentes, don't subscribe to him. He's a loser. But like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace. I'll catch y'all next time.